Hello everyone, my name is Shay, and today I'll be talking to you about how to bake a chocolate cake from scratch. Have you ever baked a horrible cake after trying your best? Well, last year for my older brother's 23rd birthday, I completely ruined the cake that I made for him. If you're like me, you don't want to make the same mistake twice, especially repeating an embarrassing moment like that one when the solution is so readily available to you here. The 4 essential steps to baking a cake are organizing all of the materials and buying the ingredients as such, mixing all of them together in proper proportions, baking for the correct amount of time and temperature, which is 350 degrees, and decorating or frosting the cake afterwards to your desired needs. So in order to bake a cake, you must first buy the correct ingredients and organize the materials. First, obtain the following ingredients: 2 cups of sugar, 1 3/4 cups of all-purpose flour, 0.75 cups of unsweetened cocoa powder, 1.5 teaspoons of baking soda, 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of salt, 2 large eggs, 1 cup of buttermilk, 0.5 cups of canola oil, 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, and have 1 cup of boiling water on hand. As you can see, I have several bowls, spoons at my disposal, along with an electric mixer. Please know that canola oil and vegetable oil are interchangeable throughout this process, and please use precise measurements.
Go.
So, as I said, make sure to have plenty of bowls, spoons, cups, tablespoons, and teaspoons at your disposal to measure everything. As you can see here, I already have the predetermined measurements that I said a few seconds ago. Make sure that you also have a butter knife or a cake knife, a 9x13 pan, non-stick cooking spray, and a couple of spoons at your disposal. As my grandmother, who has been cooking forever, always has said, get started on washing your dishes to minimize the mess afterwards. Whisk and mixers are both interchangeable, but I suggest an electric mixer because they're much easier to use. So now that you know what ingredients to buy, what materials to organize, I'll show you how to mix all of them together to make the foundation of your cake, known as the batter. Gather materials and ingredients on your table with the measurements I gave you and begin following my mixing order and instructions as so. So gather all of the materials and ingredients on your table with the measurements I gave you and begin following my mixing order and instructions. Stir together the baking powder, baking soda, cocoa, flour, sugar, and salt into a large bowl like this one, and then mix with the whisk or mixer until the mixture is without resistance or lumps. You could use a spoon, but I highly recommend an electric mixer like this one for ease. So now that you have a chocolate looking powder, now add your 2 large eggs, your canola oil, vanilla extract, and buttermilk into the mixture. Beat on a medium speed with your electric mixer once again for about 2 minutes. So be sure to check if the mixture is consistent throughout by moving in a circular motion. So stir the mixture that we just made with the boiling water to thin the batter. Go on and find your 9x13 pan to prepare for baking. So now that you know how to mix and organize everything, I'll show you how to bake your cake in a traditional oven like so. Alright everyone, so time to prepare your pan, pour the batter, and bake your cake. So first you need to grease your pan with non-stick cooking spray and pour the mixture into the pan. So to grease your pan, you want to make like a Z-like motion all the way down. And then you want to get paper towels or a washcloth that's clean or a rag, and you want to move the non-stick cooking spray all over the base and lower sides of your pan. Once this is done, we're going to put the mixture into the pan as evenly as you can. So just go back and forth until it's completely filled, so it will be as level as possible. Make sure to get every bit of your batter out of your bowl, like so. Once you've gotten as much as you can out, put the bowl aside, and we will be placing the pan with your batter into the oven for 35 to 40 minutes. First, preheat your oven by your own specific standard to 350 degrees and leave your pan untouched for about 30 seconds or so just to make sure everything's leveled out. And then the most important thing, your safety, I'm using pot holders. Oven mitts will also work just to prevent heat from getting onto your hands and burning your skin. So now that we've waited for your cake batter to settle, we're going to place your pan in the oven. Remember, use your pot holders or oven mitts to safely place your pan inside the oven. I suggest putting it on the middle rack so that the time, 35 to 40 minutes, will be the most accurate. Make sure that your pan is completely within the oven, and then start your timer to 35 minutes to be safe. And if you need to, you can add a little bit more time at the end. Make sure to use a toothpick to check the center of your cake by just placing it vertically inwards. And whenever you pull the toothpick out, if it is moist, your cake is not done and it needs to go back in the oven. If it is dry, take your cake out using your pot holders or oven mitts for your own safety, and remove it and place it onto a trivet, which is a metal stand, or I suggest, if you don't have a trivet, maybe another pan to put it on top so it will not stain the surface of your table. If available, I suggest using a cooling rack, just so that your surfaces will all stay clear and you don't need to, I say, falter your cake by placing it into the fridge. So now that you know how to bake your cake properly, I'll show you how to decorate your cake or frost it with chocolate frosting. So since your cake is cooled down, or while mine is cooling, frost your cake with either a pre-made store-bought frosting or make your own using the following steps. You'll need half a cup of butter, 2/3 cup of unsweetened cocoa powder, 3 cups of powdered sugar, 1/3 cup of buttermilk, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract to make delicious frosting. So first you're going to combine your butter and cocoa powder into a large, so combine the butter and the cocoa powder. Now you want to add the powdered sugar right here into the mix. And then the melted butter on top of that. You might need to scrape it out a little with a butter knife or spoon available to you. And then once you have that done, add your vanilla extract. So now, mix all of the ingredients together with a mixer on medium to ensure the best taste and quality. For a richer tasting flavor according to Hershey's chocolate cake, melt the butter beforehand like I did, like so. Mid-pause it, right? So now that the frosting is all mixed up, cool the frosting for 5 to 10 minutes in the refrigerator before spreading with a cake knife, butter knife, or a cake spatula like so. So now that the cake is cooled and the frosting has as well, you want to take a spoonful of frosting and spread it onto the cake from one side to the other until, as evenly as you can, until both sides of the cake are completely covered and you can no longer see the actual cake. So, as you can see, this cake is fully frosted. So, just so everyone knows, when in doubt, I use the Food Network to make sure my steps are done properly. If you choose to make your own cake instead of buying one in the stores, remember the 4 steps. Obtaining the ingredients and organizing the materials, mixing all of them together to form the proper proportions, bake for the correct amount of time while the proper temperature of 350 degrees, and decorate after it is cooled as so. When you take the time to personally bake a cake for someone, it will be greatly appreciated with the attention and detail that you put into making it and the effort you use in the process.